We're going to be talking about the Dallas-Fort Worth real estate market with a local expert. She's going to be talking about the lack of inventory and why that is. That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show. Well, typically during an economic downturn, the housing market kind of goes off the cliff, and the opposite is happening here in DFW. Let's talk about that right now with Christi Beca from the Christi Beca Realty Group. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm glad I'm here.
Well, let me take you back to the early days of the pandemic, because I think, all of us, this is uncharted water. When the pandemic hit, did you say, oh gosh, that's it, we're done, real estate is going to dry up?
100%. The market was strong. We were coming, from a great market in general. Just, the economy in general was doing great. And when the pandemic hit, I remember in March, and everything just simply stopped. Obviously, rightfully so. And the market just people were staying indoors. Everyone was hunkering down in quarantine, and not really no one wanted to buy or sell, which naturally, of course, because of the pandemic. And the real estate market just stopped temporarily for a good probably month and a half. And I was getting calls from we still had clients that we had to
Sure.
find homes for. We had clients that were still in the middle of transactions, and we saw those through. But definitely there was a dip in the industry, and where the world kind of stopped, not just ours alone in the real estate industry, but worldwide and throughout the United States. And but we're proud to say that over the course of a couple of months, it was short-lived, thankfully, over March and April, that we saw it just really bounce back, and not only bounce back, but bounce back stronger than it was before the pandemic.
Well, you and I have been talking before the show about the lack of
Yes.
inventory. Why is there such a lack of inventory?
It comes down to kind of simple economics, supply and demand. When you have more buyers in the market than you do sellers or inventory to sell them, you simply just have a lack of inventory. And, thankfully, because the mortgage rates are historically low, and, we have not seen rates ever this low, hovering in the upper 2%, 2.8, 2.9%. You're bringing a lot of buyers that normally probably wouldn't have bought, kind of getting off the fence and jumping into the market. So with an uptick, I think we're seeing a 30% increase over last year. Wow. Of mortgage applications because of that, and we just simply don't have enough houses to sell to people. So
you specialize in like the Flower Mound areas.
I do.
Kind of your home base, yes?
I do, yes. Flower Mound, Highland Village, Lantana
Sure.
area, South Lake Colleyville is where we
In a
predominantly.
very hot market. Tell me
Yes.
about the pandemic in terms of like virtual tours, because I'm sure you were set up for that before, but you really had to go full bore for a while there.
Absolutely. Like many companies, a lot of people, you have to adjust to the market, and you have to adjust. You've got to learn how to pivot, and you have to learn how to adjust to the market demands, and obviously do it, during a pandemic, do it as safely as possible. And so we were, instead of doing open houses and doing your typical showings of what you would handle with buyers, sellers, we were doing more virtual tours. And where basically we would either through the MLS they would offer 3D tours, or I would show up to a house and do a virtual open house is what they call it, and where you either do a Facebook Live or you do some sort of FaceTime and doing virtual tours to those buyers who may still be interested in the property, who can't obviously show up in person and tour the property.
So tell us a little bit more about your history, because I understand your dad was a realtor.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. So I'm second generation in real estate, and I grew up in real estate. My dad was a big broker in Oklahoma. And so I learned early on in the real estate trenches, and I took several different career paths, in my early adult life, but decided to make a career change about 7 years ago, and decided that really real estate is carrying on the family business is really kind of in my blood, and carrying on the family tradition.
That's cool. And you're about to set records for your company.
Yes, absolutely. So we're very blessed and very happy, thankfully to the market and business, that we'll have our best year in business year to date in real estate.
Outstanding.
So,
and I know you're
absolutely
very involved in the community. We have some pictures that we'd like to share.
Sure.
This is you guys giving back. Tell us what we're looking at.
Yeah, so back in April, we hosted during the National Nurses Week. I founded 5 years ago. I founded Flower Mound Women in Business, and that was at one of our charity events where we worked with the Texas Presbyterian Hospital and Fletcher's Corny Dogs.
Cool.
And yep, there we are. And there's Amber Fletcher, and one of the chief of staff surgeons there as well. And we worked together, and it was just one way to give back to the community during the pandemic, and just to let our doctors and hospital staff and nurses at the Texas Presbyterian Hospital, just thanking them for their service during this pandemic and how hard it was for them, and just to show a sign of appreciation.
That's wonderful. Tell me why that's so important to you, the giving back.
It's important to me because my community helps support what we do in real estate, and I just think it's simply important for me to give back to the community that I live and serve. And and it's more important to me for to really give back to the women in business. I think all small businesses and all businesses are important, but I have my heartstrings are to empowering women and to truly giving back and to helping women any way I can, and to become stronger, and through my perils of some life lessons and what I've learned, and wanting to give back. And it's just important to me to be able to help as many people as I can, as they have helped me, and have grown in incredible ways, and to be able to help.
That's wonderful. And I know you're a mom. What kind of lessons are you hoping your kids learn from watching mom succeed during this difficult time?
Oh gosh. What I want them, if they can do anything, if I can just lead by example. If I can just simply lead by example, and it's not so much, I believe in, and of course you want to preach to your children, and they may not always listen. Sure. They may turn a blind ear and a blind eye and just say, okay, mom, okay, whatever, that's fine. But I hope more than anything that, living by example of through my work ethic and through giving back to the community, and striving just to simply be the best person that I can be, not only to them but to the community, that hopefully they pick up on some of those traits, and will hopefully thank me later, when they're grown and out and being, hopefully responsible adults. So.
I love it. That's a great way to end the segment. Let's go to the website. It's ChristiBecaRealty.com. You have been a delight, and thank you for being a part of my life.
Yes, I know. We go way back.
I interviewed her years ago with Fox
That's
4,
right.
and then my wife interviewed you for Channel 33.
That's right.
So.
Oh, and I thank you so much, Jeff, for your friendship and, for being part of such a great program and great opportunity. And it's always great to see you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.